Welcome to Willie's World. Turning my life around. Got my weights out. Took my vitamins. Skipped breakfast. Drinking colorful poison here, you know. All right, we're going to talk about it. I decided I was going to. Thought about it a long time. Oh, for you, all right, we're still plugging away. We're still here. So I've been sober for nearing 6 years. 6 years in September, right? Okay, but recently I had been led to undertake a heroic dose journey. And I don't know why. The idea popped into my head. And then I started seeing synchronistic events. Like, I started seeing the numbers, you know, the angel numbers or whatever. Every 11-11, I got every 11-11 for like a week. I got every 10-10 for like a week. I got all of them, man. I was even getting 11-22, like 1122. I was getting all of the numbers. And so it was kind of like last year with Florida. I was seeing Florida everywhere. And I think in some ways, the Florida trip was preparing me for this trip, because often things happen in pairs. There's a preparation phase, and then there's an execution phase, right? So I started seeing all these numbers, and, you know, I even consulted one of my friends who I've been in sobriety with, and I said, you know, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to do this. And he was like, okay. And I was like, huh, okay. Anyways, so that happened, and I want to talk about it with you. And it's kind of an interesting thing. I wouldn't say that it's a big thing. I'm going to say that it can be a big thing, depending on the circumstances of how it happens. Okay, so, because, you know, like I said, I've been sober for 6 years. I've done lots of psychedelics before. In the past, I've done a fair amount. You know, I never liked the psilocybin. I never really cared for that. I always had a bad time. So when that was the idea that popped into my head, I was a little bit shocked and surprised. I was kind of like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be one of those people, because you see the people and they look funky. They're all kind of weird. But I never had a good time on that. And, you know, I only ever had one profound experience on psychedelics before, you know. So it was kind of interesting for me to think about that this was some drama that was unfolding in my present life. And so anyways, I didn't really have that previous profound experience as a context to draw off of before I undertook this one. So I couldn't really make the connections. But this was kind of a big thing for me. It was curious. It was interesting. The experiences, there's so much going on. So when a person makes a video like this, kind of debriefing or unpacking a heroic dose journey, there's so many different things that a person could talk about. And the focus of the video could be really all over the place. So I'll touch on a few different things, but I really want the focus to be of this video on one specific thing. I don't really want to necessarily talk about what I learned from my experience in terms of what was shown to me in the vision I had. That's not the focus of this video. The focus of this video is also not to condone or I don't know what the word is. Like advocate, or I don't know. It's not to tell you to go out and do this. That's not the focus of this video. And it's also not the focus of this video to tell you like how great like psilocybin is or mushrooms are. Like, that's not the point of this video. And the focus of this video mostly is going to be about how the context of my life situation took me to this place and why I think it was beneficial for me, right? So I can really briefly discuss like why I think it works, and I will do that. But that again is not the focus of this video. So, like as a classification of living organisms, fungus is like, I looked it up on the internet. It's like 500,000 to 1 billion years old. Like the oldest tree on planet Earth. I guess trees have been extant on planet Earth for like ever, but the oldest tree currently is only 9,000 years old. So, like 1 billion years old. Okay, mycelium spores are in the air. They're in the ground, like immensely in the ground. They're on your body. Like, they kind of are everything. And they're super old. So when a person takes a heroic dose or undertakes a heroic journey, they're imbibing such a massive quantity of this substance, and it overtakes their body. You can't resist it. You can't fight it. When you take so much like that, there's really nothing else to do but to submit to the substance. And so as you submit to the substance, it's my understanding. I could conceptualize other reasons based on like the scientific evidence, but it's my understanding that you are merging with mushroom consciousness, and the mushroom consciousness is allowing you to see what merging with everything, integration, ego death, whatever they call it, looks like. So you get to experience 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, one or two intense hours in that headspace, and then a few hours after of kind of not so intense in that headspace of being integrated with everything. So that's as best as I understand it. Now the problem is, and I've heard this term on other videos I was watching and researching, the problem is integrating, because we exist in a finite form, a distinctly separate form from all other things. Our cities, our towns, our houses, our communities, they're so distinctly separated, right? So we have to come back into that type of reality. So again, coming back into this, I'm going to maintain my sobriety, right? I believe that the experience was really profound for me on a personal level, but I don't think I'm going to become that person. I don't think that's part of my journey, right? That's not for me. The vision, the knowledge that I gained from that is helpful for me. To experience what that is like was helpful for me. But I'm still me, and I still have to live in my life. See, that was kind of the first thing I thought in preparation of this trip, as the drama of my life situation was unfolding, as this is going to happen, this is what you're going to do. One of the things I thought was that this was going to solve all my problems. I thought this experience was going to solve all my problems in life. But then it didn't. It didn't solve all my problems in life. So I was kind of like, okay. So it left me actually with a greater awareness of understanding and leaning on the power of God to solve my problems. Because you have this pool of things that are going to solve your problems, right? I continually go into this pool and I say, okay, I got these life situation problems. I created them with my own choices, right? But they're difficult, they're uncomfortable. I don't know how to deal with them. I don't know how to manage them. So I go into this pool and I say, what's going to solve my problems? And I look at this person on YouTube, or I get this book, or I get this concept, I get this new idea. Oh, I'm going to try this, and this is going to solve all my problems. And each time you try one of those things, you start to see that didn't solve my problems. That didn't solve my problems. And so the pool becomes smaller, and it becomes smaller, and it becomes smaller. And the only thing that's left to solve your problems is God. Is God, really? Because, remember, in the realm of mind and mentality, the sense of self, personality, is always a victim. That's how the mind works. He rolls in the drama triangle: victim, persecutor, rescuer. You see, the only rescuer is Jesus Christ and God, right? So after the experience, it took me to that spot. It took me more to that spot, to rely on God and Jesus Christ when I have to face a problem or deal with a mountain that I don't believe that I can face or deal with, right? So that was kind of interesting. But so now I want to talk about kind of more what I took away from the experience as a whole, generally, in terms of, my own spiritual understanding. So the previous time I had a profound experience, and I can post a link to this video, I'll talk about it more in depth in this one, was when I was 24. And I think some of my roommates got some LSD, and the experience was on LSD. I had done LSD a lot before that time. I never really had a profound experience. I had fun times, but I don't know. My roommates had some. I was 24. I was kind of turning 25. My energies were merging, into the power chakra. They were merging out of sensation into the power chakra. I was becoming a fully matured human being. My brain was becoming fully developed, because that's what happens at age 25. They gave me some LSD. I took some LSD. They were watching a movie. I was kind of like, this is dumb. I'm gonna go in my room. So I went in my room, and I was kind of pacing around. I was trying to figure it out. I was working it out, and all of a sudden I had an opening. I had a download, and the download was about Buddhism, and it was all about Buddhism. And so I made a video about my psychosis experience, and that's the link I will post in this. The psychosis experience happened like a few days after this LSD trip, right? So, and that's a whole separate thing, but it's interesting to think about the two together. So I had this download, and it was all about craving. It was all about aversion. It was about the Four Noble Truths of Buddhism, as suffering caused by craving, ending suffering. So it really set me on my path for the next 12 years, if you really want the truth, because I didn't know anything about Buddhism at that time, except for what was shown to me on the LSD trip. I saw that I was a drug addict also, and I saw that I was a drug addict because of craving. I understood the content of Buddhism directly through my drug use, right? And so it really woke me up to this new reality of who I was going to be in the following 12 years, which was I started reading books about Buddhism. I started going to Vipassana 10-day meditation courses. I really started to develop and strengthen my understanding of Buddhism as action taking place in the present moment, and all mental dramas as illusions and delusions causing causing misery. So I really started to see that. And so that was my first profound experience on psychedelics. So fast forward 12 years, all of a sudden I'm feeling guided and led to do this. I don't know why I'm feeling guided and led to do this, but all of a sudden the thought pops into my head. I'm telling you, I'm seeing these synchronistic numbers everywhere. I'm watching some movie. I'm doing a lot of research about this. I like to research and do things like that. I like to prepare. I like the process of a journey. I like receiving the knowledge, or having the idea, or planting the seed, and seeing the sprout come out of the ground of this journey that's going to happen. And then I like amassing all the information. I like preparing for the journey. I like undertaking the journey. I like completing the journey. And then I like reflecting upon the entire experience of the journey. To me, that is a very fruitful experience, to look at the whole entire thing as it happens and as it happened. So I was watching I could never really get into the guy. He was so weird. I was watching a Terrence McKenna video, one of the guys that was big on psychedelics and psilocybin. But I was doing some work on some other project in my apartment, and I was listening to this video passively, and I was like, I'm not into this video. I paused the video. I switched to a different tab. I said, I'll leave it open. Maybe I'll get to it later. And I never got back to it that day. Went to bed, woke up the next day. I saw that the tab was open. I was doing some other stuff. I pulled it open, and I had paused the video at 11 minutes and 11 seconds. And I said, okay, this is a sign. This is what I'm doing. So I said, okay, well, how do I get these? Because I haven't done this stuff for 6 years. I don't know any of these people. So I see a guy in town. I said, I think that guy sells. So maybe I'll ask him. And I don't want to ask him. No, that's weird. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not talking to him. So I said, I'll go out in the woods. I'll go pick them. And I started researching the kinds. And I said, I'm going to kill myself. I'm not going to do that. So I don't do that either. So I'm cleaning my apartment. My apartment's got a lot of stuff, right? So I start cleaning my apartment. I find this notebook. And I wrote down the guy's number 2 years ago. I find this notebook, and I think he was growing them. I find this notebook, and there's his number. So I text him. There you go. It was synchronistically so easy. It was so easy. It happened. It worked out. And, it was a gift. It was a gift. So I picked the day. I did it. I followed the instructions of the people on the internet pretty rigidly. and then it's interesting when you do that, because you start to see, oh, well, this is why they say these things, because you can't really do anything. So, but anyways, and I started to have my vision, and my vision was very profound, and it was very profound in that it was just an extension of the previous profound experience on psychedelics. It was just a deeper exploration into basically Buddhism for myself and my own personal knowledge. For me, it was all about karmic purity, karmic perfection, karmic action. And it was really incredible. I mean, so looking at my age now, I'm 36. The energies of my power chakra are merging into the love chakra in my life, and I've decided that 12 years, based on the Sadhguru quote of 1,008 moons, and that is 84 years. The Buddha died at age 84. 84 is the age of a complete life cycle. 7 chakras times 12 is 84 years. You look at the developmental changes at each 12-year stages. I don't know up until this point, what's after now, because I haven't got there, but I'm 36. The energy's merging, the life is changing. So, it just makes sense. So that's where I came up with that number. So, so I decided that in debriefing and thinking about this experience and the knowledge, that the vision that I had that was given to me, that was so specific to me and so related to the other previous experience at age 24, I started to think, I was called to do this by God for me, right? So this is not something I would have normally done out of my own volition. Like, I don't really want to do that again, you see? So the point of the video is to focus on and explain to everybody out there that, if you feel called to do something in your life, and even if it seems a little bit strange or not like normal to you, but it's easy. It's synchronistic events are lining up for you to undertake this, whatever this is in your life. And the things are just falling into place, then you need to do it. You need to carry it out. You need to do that. You need to listen to that. I'm not saying go do a heroic dose or do that. I'm not saying do anything specifically. I'm saying listen to the universe and trust the universe that it's going to take you to where you need to go, especially if the events are falling into place and lining up for you. Because it's probably your birthright. I don't know. All right, well, that's Willie's World. I'm going to change my life around. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll have to listen to it, see if I like it. But anyways, till next time, I will see you later.